Okay, today we're going to be doing a beef tenderloin. We have a couple different sides of the beef tenderloin. We have the head and we have the tail in here. From here down is where we're going to be getting our filet mignons that we're going to be using on the menu. Now, the beef tenderloin is very similar to the fresh tuna that we're getting in because it's also got a head and it's got a tail. On the tail of the tuna loin, we take off the very end where you can't get steaks out of, and we make tuna bites out of it. Well, now we're going to be making beef kebabs and beef bites out of it. I'll have several different options for you to utilize all this product. Also, on the tuna loin, there's a chain. On the chain, we're always used to taking the chain off when we cut it for the seared rare ahi, and it's the exact same thing here. You'll see where it completely separates. You might have to cut it just a little bit. It's good to have a sort of a fillet knife or something smaller. You don't want to use a French knife, and you can see that I'm just separating that chain. It would just peel right off, but I'm just using my knife a little bit to give it a go. And see how that is? Alright, now the chain of the beef tenderloin, what we're going to do is we're going to reserve that, and we're going to use that later on in a recipe. And what we're going to do is boil it down, and it almost makes like a barbecue. Okay, now this is called the silver skin, and you need to get all that off the beef tenderloin. So what you do is just make a really small incision. Keep your knife beveled towards the silver skin itself, always pulling towards the head. You're not losing any, getting any meat, and you're taking off that silver skin. It's like the sinew of the beef. You want to get as much beef fat off of there as you can. Now, in the head, it's cut into two different pieces like that. Okay, so you don't want to separate it, but you just want to get that excess fat out of there. Be gentle with the beef tenderloin because it's very expensive. You don't need to waste it. It's when you're in a hurry and you're on the fly that you lose a lot of beef. Some of this, if you can, just pull it off with your hands, just like I just did. Okay, we're getting a nice trimmed up loin. All those little fat scraps you can put with the chain because we can use it all when we incorporate it into a dish. Alright, this is nice. Now on the bottom of it, it's not the sinew, it's the, although there is some right here, it's more of a meaty fat, which adds a little bit of flavor to it. I'm just trimming it down. Gonna go right underneath the head, get that little bit of fat off of there. That little bit of fat off of there. We're going to leave a little bit on there for flavor. I'm just kind of skinning it. Okay. Right there is a nice beef tenderloin. It's trimmed down. There's a little bit of marbling left to it. This is very good. Trimming all those excess pieces. Alright, good. Now, down here we got the tail. So, once again, we're going to cut it right there. About 2 inches up into the tail. As you can see, you got a thick piece of meat right there. That's where your steaks are going to begin. Now, what do we do with the tail? We're going to cut that up. We have beef tenderloin tips that we can either use with the marsala recipe or the red wine and mushroom recipe, or also we can do them with kebabs and do like the several different kinds of recipes that we'll have for that. So nice appetizer, nothing goes to waste. All right, there you go. It's your 7 ounce or 8 ounce beef tenderloin. Always have your scale. There it is, perfect right there. All the way up for cutting these down. Okay, now we're going to get to the head, and that's kind of tricky because it is separated like that. Okay, so once again, we're going to take the very tip of the head off, and that goes over with our beef tips. But as far as the rest, so we can make a little fillet out of the chateau. Boom. Boom. There we have it. Got our nice tenderloins out of there. This is what we're going to be using for our entrees. These tips are going to be used for our kebabs and beef satay and the beef marsala, the beef with the mushrooms, different specials we're utilizing with saute. The chain and the rest of the fat goes off to the side. Save up about 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to have a recipe for you to follow on how to get rid of that product. All right, there you go. Beef tenderloin 101. Enjoy.